we are told that he had been battling prostate cancer in his later years. After his release from prison following that robbery in Las Vegas, he'd settled down in Sin City, where he lived a relatively private and peaceful life out of the public eye. He was active on social media, often posting to Twitter with opinions on sports, politics, and other topics. But in recent years, as I say, he had been suffering from prostate cancer. His health, we're led to believe, took a turn for the worse of late, and he was in hospice care within the past few months prior to his death just announced. But a huge figure in American history, American cultural and political history, as well, clearly, as legal history. Who can forget that trial following the 1994 deaths of his former partner, Nicole Brown Simpson, and Ron Goldman, stabbed to death in California, and OJ, in the company of one of his former football colleagues, was in a car. There was a car chase, a very famous televised car chase. Police in pursuit of a Ford Bronco. Inside that vehicle was OJ Simpson, with his colleague telling police OJ was in the vehicle with a gun to his head, demanding that he be taken back to his estate in California. It was these were images on our screens filmed by TV helicopters, and anybody who didn't know OJ Simpson before then certainly knew him at that point. After his arrest, there was, of course, the very famous trial at which he was tried and found not guilty. Remember that famous line, if the gloves don't fit, you must acquit. There was a glove said to have been worn by OJ when he was accused of committing double murder, but famously in court, he tried on the glove and it was a very tight fit. His lawyer, Johnny Cochran, telling the jury, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. A very famous trial that divided America largely along racial lines at the time. It was a huge surprise to many when he was acquitted, given the weight of evidence and given his previous association and behaviour towards Nicole Brown Simpson. He had been violent towards her. He had been a domestic abuser. That was a matter of public record. But ultimately, he was acquitted. And you're looking at him there in a legal setting, wearing prison garb. The law eventually did catch up with him after he went into a hotel in Las Vegas in the company of others. There were weapons involved. He was looking to retrieve memorabilia, and that was deemed to have been a robbery aggravated by the possession of a weapon, and that's what did land him with a jail sentence. In the view of many, he had it coming to him, an individual who deserved to be behind bars for crimes for which he had been acquitted in the past. But he certainly served a number of years in prison prior to his release, and as has been reported by his family today, his latter years were spent in hospice care, or his latter months certainly were in hospice care, having suffered from cancer and dying at the age of 76. An American icon, a man who was celebrated for his sporting achievements and acting achievements. Don't forget, he was extremely high profile, a superstar, top NFL football player with the good looks, with the charisma, the presence on the pitch, presence on the screen, which enabled an acting career in films, comedy films largely. He was a man who could play the fool on screen, and was very much a prominent, celebrated individual for achievements across the board, which is why it was such a shock when America learned of the death of his partner and her friend, and America looked on in disbelief, as did the rest of the world, when they saw the car chase, the trial, the accusations of a brutal, bloody murder of two individuals who were close to him. And you're looking at that car chase, which played out live on our television screens at the time. In the white vehicle in front, there were two individuals, OJ Simpson and his NFL colleague who was driving, telling the police, "I've got OJ in the back of this vehicle and he has a gun to his head," clearly unstable at the time. A car pursuit, and you see the number of police cars involved in that. It was jaw-dropping television at the time, not just because of the visual spectacle, but because of the personnel involved. OJ Simpson, big star, big football star, big star of our cinema screens. That car chase ultimately ended with his arrest, and as I say, it would come to trial before a jury, which itself was live on television. It was a daily fixture for an international audience, and as I say, a matter of some disbelief to many when he was ultimately acquitted of a double murder.